Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time from your day. Well, I hope everybody had a good week. I'm going to wait just a minute to let people get in here, because sometimes it can be a little struggle to be notified. So and there is a delay. There's always a delay. It seems like 30 to 45 seconds is what I find. Okay, so let's see if I can get on here and see the comments. There we go. Yay! Everything worked the way it was supposed to today. I love that. I love that for me. Okay, so Stampin' Up! Announced today that there will be, hello Cynthia, that there will be a 24-hour sale beginning on September 18th for stamps and stamp tools. I should have brought my iPad in here so I could show you where to find those on the website so you can look now. If you'll give me 1 second, I'll run and get that. And then we'll get started. Okay. So let's see. Let's go on the website. All right. And of course, probably when I want to get on here, I probably will be logged out. Okay. So that's okay. So here is the Stampin' Up! Website. So you're going to go over here to the little 3 hamburger signs. And then, really? You're going to make me sign in and create an account? Can't I just look? There we go. Okay, so go to the little hamburger signs. And then go to Shop Products. And hit Stamps. And then see where it says Stamp Tools right here? This is going to show you the stamp tools that will be included in that 15% off sale, minus the clear block bundle, because no bundles are included. Okay, so these items here are the items that you will find in the sale. Okay, along with all of our stamps that are not on the last chance list. So to get to the stamps, of course, you would do stamps and then shop all. But if it's a last chance item, it's not going to count. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping. No bundles, no last chance items. All of the stamps, they did not exclude any from the holiday mini or the brand new online exclusives releases. So all of those will be available to you on that sale. All right. Hi, Tracy. Hello, Cynthia Howard. Thank you for sharing with your friends. I appreciate that so much. That's how we find new ones. How is the weather for you in North Dakota? We're pretty hot today. We had some rain and now it's hot. So anyway, again, this is going to go on September 18th. Now, remember that starts at like 12:01 a.m. Mountain Time. So I'm assuming in North Dakota, maybe you're in the Mountain Time, Cynthia Howard, maybe? And that'll work for you. But for us here in the Pacific Northwest, this sale will actually start on the 17th at 11:01 p.m. But that also means that concludes an hour earlier on the 18th. So it won't go until 11:59 p.m. It'll only go until 10:59 p.m. Make sense? Okay. Very nice in the high 70s. That's nice. Yeah. Today was a little warm, but not too horrible. All right. So I decided that it was time to do some Halloween projects. And I know these are online exclusives and they were released in July. I did a couple of Halloween projects then when they were released, but it's time to start thinking about Halloween again. So I thought I would bring these back out for tonight. So we're going to do Spooky Halloween first, and we are going to combine that with a brand new die set. The Jolly Delivery, which is part of the holiday. So let's get our project ready for that. I gotta do a little bit of scooting around here so that my things are in the right spot for me. Okay, so the Jolly Delivery has a stamp and die bundle. And let's see, I didn't pull the rest of it out. This is the only part of the dies that we're using today. So this is the stamp set. And then these are the rest of the dies. I put mine on 2 magnet sheets, one so that I could put this separate from the stamp set because I can use this for any occasion whatsoever, okay? And these go primarily to cut out these images, so I've put that in my stamp case. All right, so we're going to be using this, and it makes a treat box. So that's what we're going to be using tonight, along with Spooky Halloween to make our first project. Let's go ahead and get started. These are the dies for Spooky Halloween. You get dies to cut out these 4 images. We don't have a die to cut the bats, but we do have this cute little die which makes a little tag and this bat pops up. And then we have some standalone bats that you can cut, a fence, okay? And then you get 2 of the dies to cut out the pumpkins, these little guys right here, so you can cut multiples. All right, this is a photopolymer stamp set. So let's go ahead and get started on our project. All right, so for this, we're also using the stamp set Fright Night. This is also a bundle. We'll be using the second part of this bundle later tonight, but for now we're just using the Fright Night. And we're going to make a little treat box. And I've done some of the stuff ahead. So I pre-cut the Jolly Delivery die, the large one that makes the box. I pre-cut that out of 2-tone cardstock, okay? Now I want to show you how this works. Let me move this out of the way. So when you take this is what you have, okay? So you get a piece of 6x6 designer series paper. Let me just grab a scrap piece here since I've already cut this, okay? So this will fit on a 6x6 piece of cardstock or designer series paper, and you just put it on like this, okay? And you can cut it out that way, or it comes with these 3 dies, and they fit, they're notched, and you put them into this end, and it is also notched. So all you have to do is drop those in there, into those notches like that. And then I take a piece of mint tape, you can use washi tape, whatever, just to keep that from jumping in my machine. And then I run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, okay? Make sure you run that together because this is your closure. Okay. So then when you get that done, this is what you have. And see how I use the circle. See how that gives me this little closure right here? For this sample here, I use the heart. And so then you get this little box. And you just close this up, squeeze your little things through, and there's your box. Okay? So I went ahead and pre-folded. It comes up with the score lines are already done for you, so I pre-folded. I'm using basic black two-tone cardstock, and I'm using the light side for my outer. Okay? So once you get these all scored, you want to make doubly sure that when you are doing these, that this is really nice and crisp. If you don't give this a crisp fold, you will have trouble closing your box. Okay? Trust me on this. All right, so let's get, I'm going to use tear and tape, and I'm going to use liquid glue. So I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape along the little glue tabs here at the score line. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to hold this box closed while I wait for that glue to dry. So I like tear and tape for that. And I don't want gaps in my box, so I'm going to put that right along the edge of the score line. Not on it, but right next to it. Okay? And then to make doubly sure that this is going to stick, I'll add liquid glue at the top. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to get this decorated because it's easier to do it when it's flat. Okay, and this, you're going to want, if you're going to put a landscape decoration here, you want to make sure this is at the top when you put your landscape on. Because if you don't, then your closure is going to be upside down. And I know this because I did it wrong. Okay, so trust me, this is going to come up, this is going to come down, and that's how you want it to go. Okay, and it's going to be hard to do when it's not put together, but we're going to do it together. Okay, so we're going to bring in, actually, I'm just going to put this on and then we can do it, and then I'll decorate because I think it will be a little bit easier that way. And what did I do with my box? Yep. Okay. So let's just put this piece on, and then we'll just put the other pieces on, because this is the harder part to put on. I can put the other pieces on fairly easily. Okay, so we'll put this on, and this piece is 2 7/8 by 2 3/8. Yep, 2 7/8 by 2 3/8. This piece of designer series paper comes from the Spooky Halloween, Spooky Sweet designer series paper, and that's this. Okay, so you get some of these pages that are ready for card fronts. We're using this piece, and I've already cut out one of these houses from here, and then the back side is just an orange pattern. You've got this piece, and the back side of that has a bunch of tags on it that you can just easily cut through. And then we've got this piece and the back side of that. And this also is a specialty paper, so it comes with die cuts. Okay, so these, you get 2 sheets of these. You can just pop them out and throw them on your cards, your scrapbook pages, your treat boxes, whatever. Okay, so that's just a quick look at that paper. Let me put it away before I step on it because I dropped it. Okay, let's go ahead and put this together now. So I'm going to pull this off. This box is best put together if you have something inside it. It's easier when you go to close it. But I'm going to I've got my tear and tape here. Hope you can see that. And then I'm just going to take and put just a tiny bit of liquid glue at the top there, just because I don't want those flapping and getting caught on my treat. So then I'm going to fold those in and line up those corners, square them up. And because I used the tear and tape, I don't have to keep holding that. Okay. And so I can just give that a quick squish there. Put all four of those sides together. Hello, Lynette. Uh-oh, connection issues. No way. How am I doing? Am I still on? It says I'm still live, but I see this is scrolling. Hang on. Let me see what happens when I do that. Okay, it looks like I'm good now. Am I good? Oh my goodness. Don't know why we're having issues. I shouldn't be. Oh, good. Thank you, Lynette. Okay, so we've got that, and then we'll put this here. All right. Okay, so now this box is ready to be filled. That's all there is to that. Okay? But before I do that, I'm going to take from the Fright Night. I took and stamped Happy Halloween on a piece of basic white and cut it out with the coordinating Fright Night tag die. I'm going to show you a little trick to this if you want to know how to get this done easily. One, pay attention to how when you stamp your where your H is. Is it on the side that has this downward, or is it on the side that had, well, it would be down no matter what, okay? But you just need to pay attention to that, because when you go to add it to this piece, if you try and do it this way, it doesn't work. They have to be the same, okay? So make sure when you're doing it that these line up, okay? So what I did with this was I took this in here, and to make sure this was going to work just right, I did that. I inked up my stamp in Petunia Pop, and then I laid this right inside my die. That way, I know that it's going to fit on my paper wherever I put it, okay? So I've already done that. And we can put that back so we don't lose it. Okay. All right, I had to refresh my screen too, Tracy. It could just be some Facebook issues, I don't know. But my camera is showing that I'm still live and I still have a good connection. So, all right. So the reason why I showed you that is because I'm going to cut this. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that this lines up just perfectly before I cut. And then I'm going to lay this down so I know exactly how that's supposed to go. And then I'm just going to snip off. There's some little lines here, and I just need to snip and snip, and that's going to cut that off. 2 little cuts. I'm going to repeat that over here, and then I'm going to snip right here. Okay, and I'm going to get some liquid glue. And then I'm going to add this carefully. And I like the liquid glue for this because I've got time to move it around and make sure everything is going to line up how I want it to go. Okay. And now I have a two-toned banner. All right. And I did this now because I'm actually going to put this in the bottom of my treat box. It doesn't fit quite this way, so you have to angle it a bit. And you can, of course, leave this out of your box, but I thought it was kind of cute. So I'm just going to lay that in there so that the recipient will get a nice little sentiment when they open the box. All right, so that's where we're at. Now, when I close this up, see, I'm going to put the two sides in, and then I'm going to fold the piece that has my circular piece down. And then, because it's not full, I'm going to fight it a bit, and then that'll close up. Okay? And then this is going to be the top of your box. Okay? This should actually fold down over that. But you can fold up your box however you want. Okay? So I'm going to turn this over because I want this to stay the top of my box. All right, so let's decorate. Let's get out our little Franken doggy, Frankie pup, and some Memento Tuxedo Black. And let's put that down. So we need that, and we need the little pumpkin. Okay. And that is all the stamping that we need. No, it's not. No, it's not. We're going to take from the Fright Night bundle, Eat, Drink, and Be Scary. And with this one, I'm not cutting it with the die. So as long as I can fit it on my piece here, I'm going to stamp in Granny Apple Green, Eat, Drink, and Be Scary. We've got that. Okay. Set that aside. Okay, let's bring in our Stampin' Blends. I am not going to color this whole thing because I've already colored it and die cut it for you. So let's start with, okay, you don't want to come off. I'm going to take a little bit of light Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to take in this pumpkin, I'm just going to go around here. I'll show you how I colored this pumpkin because I wanted a little bit of yellow in there. So then I took my light pumpkin pie, and my end on this one is not good, so let's go to the bullet tip. And then we're going to go with dark pumpkin pie. I'm just going to go down these artist lines and a little bit at the top, make the sides look a little rounded, and the bottom. And then we'll go back over that whole thing with our light pumpkin pie. Okay? Now I use Daffodil Delight, dark and light, on the little candy thing. And I just, again, I took the light, colored in the whole thing, and then went around the artist lines with my dark. All right. The pants I colored in basic black using the light basic black. I colored in the socks with light granny apple green all the way, and then the two of the stripes with the dark. And I colored in the dog with light and dark smoky slate. Okay. All right, I think that's it. All right, so you've got those, and I am stuck again. Okay, so let me refresh my screen because I can't see what's going on. There we go, back there. Okay, now I can see your comments again. All right, so we've got that and I've got that. Now, this has matching dies, so you would just pull those dies in. And you've got two of the pumpkins, so if you needed to do two, you could do two. Cut those out with the die cut machine. And, uh-oh, where'd my pumpkin go? Oops, where'd he go? I wonder if I put him in the wrong one. Oh, no. Okay, well, we colored him, so I guess we'll cut him out. He disappeared. I had it all cut and ready to go, but apparently it didn't want to be. So we will punt. And of course, oh, nope, there it is. I was going to say, of course, once I die cut it, then I'll find it. There it is. Okay. So out of the designer series paper, I cut this window. We're going to use that. This fence I cut from basic black, and this is also from Spooky Halloween. And then from Fright Night, if you didn't have the DSP or you didn't want to use this, there is a die cut for this house in the Fright Night set. And I just took a 1.5 by 1 5/8 inch piece of Daffodil Delight and glued it on the back. And then this is a 3/8 inch circle punch. So you could use this if you don't have the DSP and you have Fright Night. But I have the DSP, so this is what we're going to use. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started. Oh, wait a minute. Let's not get that. Let's not lose that. We need that. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of glue on here. I'm not going to need this whole thing. I'm going to cover some of it up. It's fine. So I'm just going to run a little bit of liquid glue with my fine tip glue bottle here. And I'm going to put this about here at the edge of my designer series paper. And then, yep, we're going to pop this up. This is going to go over here. Yep, that's about where I want it. So we're good. And then we're going to get some dimensionals. We're just going to put some dimensionals on here. The little bat will stick off just a tiny bit, so I'm not going to put anything right up there. And we'll stick this down over here like that. Okay, then we're going to take Frankendoggy here, and I'm going to take a glue dot. I'm going to roll that up in a ball with my Take Your Pick tool. Hello, Jen. How are you? Okay, so I'm just going to take that little glue dot. I'm going to stick it on the very end of Frankendoggy's hand right there. Like that. Except I forgot to cut that, so hang on. Let me roll that back off for a sec. This is one of my pet peeves. I like to have almost no white if I'm adding something. I don't really want that white there because I want it to look like it's one cohesive unit. So I'm just going to stick that back on there, and then I'll attach that to the very tip so it looks like Franken Doggy is holding the bucket like that. And then we're going to add some dimensionals to that. So I'm going to put one dimensional right there on the pumpkin. And then these no saggy middles. And this way, I've got more support for that pumpkin. So we're just going to put this down here and make this look like he's standing right like so. I'm going to move this over here like that. Okay. Now let's take the eat, drink, and be scary. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to hand cut it out real close. It is a very small box, so a large sentiment just doesn't work very well. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to cut it between eat, drink, and be merry. Okay? And then we'll take eat, drink, put a tiny bit of glue along there. We're going to add this up here. Like so. And then we'll put this at the bottom, down here, like that. Okay, this is almost done. Now all we have left are our embellishments. So let's grab those. We're using the Shimmer Foam Dot or stickers. These came out with the Spooky Halloween suite. So we're going to take some black and I'm going to add some of these. So we put a couple up here. One large, one small, and then I'll take the medium one and set it right in here. Okay, and now our treat box is done. So, what fits in here? I know that's what you want to know. So, we can take, I got these Ghirardelli jack-o'-lanterns. You can put 2 of them. I put my Happy Halloween in upside down, you guys. Oops. Let's see if we can switch that. Means I used glue. I might have a hard time. Nope, it's going to come right up. I didn't wait too long. Come on. There we go. We'll just turn this around so that it goes like that. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then 2 of these will fit in here rather well. Got these at Costco in the bulk. And also, this is the one I did upside down, by the way. Not that you can really tell, but I prefer it the other direction. I got these off of Amazon. They're little fidget things, and they come in several different shapes. And the ones that I got, all but the witch's hat fit in here. So there's like 4 different kinds. So there is our first project. I hope you like that. And I am spinning again. I'm still live though, right? Okay, good. Why is this doing this? Let me keep refreshing again, I guess. Still going. Are you guys still doing okay? Or are you having the refreshing issue like I am? At least I know I'm still live. Okay, so that is our first one. So let's go to project number 2. And hopefully this all works. Okay, so for the next one, we are going to make a card. And I saw where someone had made a card, and I kind of liked how they had done it. So we're going to use Spooky Halloween, and we're going to use the same technique. Okay, so I'm going to start with a piece of basic gray cardstock, and this is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So it's still half a sheet of cardstock. It's just cut the long way instead of the way I normally do it. And I did that so I can tear. Okay, so we're going to do this. And then we've got some pieces of that same designer series paper, the Spooky Halloween. I've got 3 of them. All right. And not all of these are the same size. You can make them all the same size or not, but they're all 4 1/4 because they're going to go clear across my card. But 2 of these are 1 1/4 inches, and this one is a little bit larger. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go approximately 3 inches, and I'm going to rip the front of my card, and I'm going to rip it toward me. Okay. Kind of like that. And then I'm going to take the bottom piece of this, of what's left, and I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to cut it at about 1 1/4 inches. I might not need the whole 1 1/4 inches, but I'm going to cut it anyway. Okay, and then I'm going to set this aside because I don't need that part, but I've got that. Then I'm going to take each one of these pieces, and I'm going to rip them toward me so that I can see that white core. If I ripped it away from me, then this is what I would get. Okay, but I want to see that white core. So I'm going to rip all 3 of these. Toward me, so I get that. Okay. And this paper may not look like it's directional, but your bats are all flying in the same direction. So when you rip it, you want to rip the bottom of it, not the top. Okay? So turn it this way and rip towards you so that you're ripping off the bottom. The other 2 pieces don't matter, but this one does. Okay? So now we're going to take this and we're going to take our designer series paper and put a little bit of liquid glue at the top of this. Of course, you could use another type, but I wanted a thin bead. And hang on. I'm gonna rip this up just so it's a little bit more even and not such a big difference on that left side. Okay, so then I can take this down. Still didn't get it quite like I would like, but it's okay, it'll work. And we're going to just glue that down like that. And then I'm going to take my petunia pop and I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, I'm glad you like the box. Okay, and then we're just going to lay this down right underneath there, lining that up on the edges. Okay. And finally, we're going to add this one. Okay, so we'll add that like that. Get that one on there. Line that up on the edge. Okay. Now, remember when I said I didn't know that I would need this much? Well, I'm not going to. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to cut it down because I wasn't sure what I was going to need. I'm going to cut this down to about 3/4. Okay. And actually, I might do the 1/2 inch on this one. Let's see, I think that's going to work. I'm just going to do the 1/2 inch because I just need it to go to the bottom and I want this pattern on the back, so I don't want to cover up all that pattern. So I'm going to take this and then I'll just lay this against the bottom edge of the inside and make sure that's all nice and straight. Now, you could do this easier just by leaving this card whole and putting this over, but then you wouldn't have this and you wouldn't have that cute pattern on the inside either. So, your choice. I just really liked how this looked. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we're going to grab some pieces here. I took a piece of white willow, which is the new cardstock, that the new white that came with the two-tone, although it's not two-tone. And on the back of that, I put our adhesive sheet. Okay, so you can tell the difference there. Adhesive sheet cardstock. And then I ran it through the die cut machine with the Fright Night dies. And you get 3 of these. This is the die. I've already undone 2 of them because I didn't think you needed to sit and watch me poke out all those little holes. But I did want to show you how this goes. So I'm just going to take your pick tool, and this is the die brush, just run it through, and those are all going to pop out of there fairly easily. Okay. And then because you use the die cut or the adhesive sheets, you could actually pop those back into another color if you so choose. I don't. That's too tedious. So I'm just going to pop this out of my die here. And this is now ready to go. Okay. So I've got those. And let's see, where are those Fright Night dies? Okay, so I also took from the Fright Night dies. See, here's where you get 3 of them. So you can cut 3. I took the Boo And I put this on basic black and I ran it through 4 times. Okay. So then I stacked, I've already stacked 3 of my boos because I didn't think you needed to watch me stack all 3. So I'm going to take my 4th boo, and this is the way I did all the others. I just took and put 1 down, and then I took my fine tip glue bottle with my Tombow adhesive glue. And you could use the adhesive sheets for this. I wanted a little bit of movement time, which the liquid glue provides me, so that I could set these into place. Okay, so now I've got my liquid glue, and I'm just going to set my boo down on there, and then I'll slide that into place so that I have this nice thick boo. Okay, so much easier to do it this way than to try putting a bunch of dimensionals. Okay, so we've got that. Now we needed to do just a little bit of stamping, and we need to punch a circle. So we're going to take the 2-inch circle punch. You could use the 1 7/8, I think we have. Yeah. And then the 2-inch, but I'm going to use the 2-inch circle punch. And we're going to get some Daffodil Delight ink and a blending brush, which I have right here. I got to move some supplies around, you guys, from the last. Got my Stampin' Blends in the wrong position here. So I'm just going to take my blending brush, and really, if you have used your blending brush recently, you don't want a lot of yellow, so I'm really just going to use the Daffodil Delight I have left on there, because I don't want this to be dark. I want it to just kind of look like a moon. So blending brush, daffodil ink, and we have that. Now let's go ahead and wipe this off so that I don't get ink everywhere. Okay. And then we need to stamp our pieces here. So what we need for this card is we need the little witchy kitty and the broom. So we're going to stamp our little kitty in basic black. We're going to hold that down for just a second and let the ink transfer. Okay. And then for the broom, I'm using pecan pie. Okay. So we're just going to take this, stamp it down, and now we've got our broom. Okay. So then we'll bring in our Stampin' Blends. And what I've done with this, which, let me see, did I? I'm pretty sure I already colored this, so you don't have to watch me. Okay. So for my little witch here, I put basic black here, which I have in the other thing right here. Basic black. Okay. Her ears and her little nose are light petal pink. I colored her in dark gray granite. Okay. I did put some light gray granite down, and then I fully covered over it with the dark gray granite so that she was a little bit darker than the light gray, and then I just use the light gray around her muzzle here. Okay, the light gray granite. And then her little dress is Petunia Pop, Granny Apple Green, light and dark for her tights, and then the basic black again on her shoes. Okay, so that's what I did. For the broom, I used the dark and light Darling Duckling, and then a little bit of the light gray granite right here on what would be that metal piece. And then I cut those out with the coordinating die cuts. All right, so we've got those pieces. Now, we need one more piece, and that is a piece of basic black. I've cut this with a circle from the June to August 2025 paper pumpkin add-on dies called Circle of the Season. This is 2 1/8 inches, and that's why I used the 2-inch circle punch. But if you didn't have this one, like I said, you could do 1 7/8 inch circle and a 2-inch circle punch to get the same type of effect. Okay, but I'm going to use this because I have them. So I'm just going to add these two together. Like so. Okay, and then we're going to pop our little witchy kitty on there with some dimensionals. Her hat's going to hang off just a little bit, so just be aware of that when you're putting on your dimensionals, especially if you use the smaller circles. And then we're just going to put this in here like this. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot one of the most important parts. Oh my goodness. Back up. All right. I'm going to go ahead and peel this off of here. It'll just be easier. Yes. And we'll just put it back there. It'll all work out. Okay. Now, I wanted her to look like she was holding her broom. So again, I'm going to take this. I'm going to cut this like this. Take out that white. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go from her armpit here and take out that white. All right. Now, I'm going to very carefully cut this off and try not to lose her paw. Okay. Then I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of liquid glue here. And I'm going to add the broom, like so. After I trim it up, because I don't like that much white. So let me trim that. That'll get some of that out of there, and then it'll look more cohesive. Now, you certainly don't have to do this. This is just me being anal. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'll just take and put this right here, like so. And then I'm going to get my take your pick tool and put just a tiny bit of glue right here. I'm going to pick up her paw And I'm going to set it right there like that. And now it looks like she's holding the broom. Okay? Just one of the details that I like to add to my projects. Okay. So then I'm just going to take and add this back on here like this. And actually, I'm going to take a piece of the edge of my dimensionals, my mini dimensionals, just this little piece right here. I'm going to put it right there across where the broom and her arm connect here on the back. And I'll remove that backing and we'll add this back on here like that. Okay, there we go. How's that? All right, let's add the rest of our pieces and this card will be finished. So we're going to take off the backings on these. Oh, come on. Of course you're going to be fussy because I'm on camera and I didn't have any trouble earlier today. There we go. Pull that up. And I'm just going to put this over here like this. Kind of like that. Then we'll take another section. And my fingernail will work a little better. There we go. Got that moving. Okay. And then we'll just butt this one up right next to the other one, like so. And finally, pull this one. I'm having more luck with my fingernail than I am my take your pick tool. So we'll butt that up right next to there. All right, so now we have that. Let's go ahead and put this over here like this. And we're going to take our boo, and we're going to take a wink of Stella. And let's grab a piece of scrap paper here. Let's make it a little bit easier. I'm going to shake it up, give it a little bit of a squeeze. Get some liquid or some wink of Stella going there, some glitter. It's because you've got to have glitter for Halloween. I think my wink of Stella is just about done. This one. It's time for a new one. If you've been with me for any length of time, you know how much I love my wink of Stella. And this one I've been using since March, so it's about time. I tend to write on my wink of Stella the date I started it, because then I know. Okay, so we've got that ready. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. I'm going to go ahead and add this. On here, like so. Okay, and then we're going to take our boo. I'm take that glue again. Now this one, actually, if you did the bottom one with the adhesive on it, that would probably work pretty good. Because then you could just peel off the back for your card. But I didn't do that. So we're going to put Boo right down here so that it stands out. And I am going to take a mini dimensional, and I'm going to stick it to the back of this broomstick right here because I think it needs it. And we'll just stick that down there. That way that won't get ruined. Okay, so here we are. Oh, you know what I forgot to do again? Okay, we're going to take our bats and basic black, and I should have done this before I put my stuff on, but I didn't. So we're going to make it work. And we're just going to ink those up. These come from Fright Night. Okay, and hang on, I don't want that. I only want 3 of those. I don't want the big one this time. So I'm going to take this, clean that off, and then I'm going to mask with a piece of tape that larger bat. So I'm not inking him up. And then I'm going to pull that off. And I'm going to put these over here. That way I have 7 bats flying instead of 8. And we are almost finished, you guys. It's just about done. Let's bring back in those foam sticker stars that we have right here. But before we do that, we're going to take the Petunia Pop iridescent ribbon. And we are going to make us a bow. And actually, I think I am going to go big again. I'm going to go 1 over here. And then we'll go twice. Make a double bow. Let me get that, my ribbon, get it all straightened out so it's all the same direction and not crisscrossy. So everything will lay down nice and flat. All right. Then we'll give that a trim here. And pull that off. Grab a glue dot or 2. Sometimes I like to take and stack these glue dots so they stick a little bit better. So that's what I've done here. I'm going to put this right here like that. I'm going to trim that up and that up. Very little waste when you tie off of the spool there. And then we're going to add the foam sticker dots. This time we're going to use the Petunia Pop. So again, I'm going to take a large one and a small one. And then we'll take a medium one. Oh, and I want black for that one so it'll stick out over here. Okay, there is the outside of that card. And for the inside, I again took that same Petunia Pop Designer Series paper, gave that a tour at the top this time. Stamped Happy Halloween. This is from the Spooky Halloween. And these little dots here are also from Spooky Halloween. I did those in gray granite in second generation. Stamped those bats from Fright Night. And we're going to add this to our card. And that is our projects for tonight. Okay, so there's our card. And again, let's bring in our box. And here is the other box. This just uses a different window, just so you can see the difference that you can get in those. And that's what I have. All right, I hope you enjoyed that tonight and that you will start thinking about your Halloween projects if you do them. I think I'm actually going to send some Halloween cards this year just to brighten some people's day, send out a little bit of fun, because it's always fun to craft, and it's always fun to know that other people are getting some surprise happy mail on the other end. Thanks, Tracy. I love mashing up bundles. I will be back on Thursday night at 7, as far as I know. Pretty sure I'm going to be. And I'm thinking that I'll be making another treat box with another stamp set for Halloween. All right, that's what I have planned right now. We'll see how it comes to fruition. And I'll either see you at 7 on Thursday on YouTube, or I'll see you Tuesday night back here at 7 p.m. with more projects. Thanks so much. Everybody have a great week. Thanks for sharing, commenting, liking. All that stuff helps my channel, and I do appreciate it so much. Until next week, goodbye.